got the diffuser installed and painted. It was not the easiest to work with. Turned out pretty well. But let me tell you about it. So if you watched my other video, the diffuser was from eBay. Like I said, I'm trying to do this as cheaply as possible and still maintain quality. The company, eBay company that I bought the diffuser from was Magic Drift. MagicDrift.com. Obviously, you have that website, and they have a Facebook page as well. First thing I noticed right away, and if you watch my other video, you will see it in close-up detail. The inside edge, the lip that you apply the double-sided tape to, was super rough and wavy. So I had to take a bunch of time and repair that, which was annoying. Went down to 220 grit sandpaper and just started cutting material away, and then moved up to 320 and then 400 grit, and then eventually to 600. Wet sanded it to smooth it down, but not too smooth, so the tape would still have something to adhere to, which ended up working pretty well. The other problem was that the angle of that lip was, upon first glance and kind of doing a test fit, it seemed fine, but when you applied the tape and then try to tuck the bottom portion under the rear bumper cover where it needs to go, and you know, you apply some screws or whatever you want to do, that's what I did, some small bolts, it pulled the angle even further, making it more drastic, and therefore putting so much pressure on the double-sided tape that it wanted to pull away from the bumper. So I got the heat gun out again to try to form that a bit. I relieved the pressure by taking the bolts out, and tried to shape it a bit with my hand, and use some painter's tape to put some pressure on the diffuser and the bumper cover together. Let it sit for a couple of hours before I put the bolts back in the bottom side, and then left tape on overnight as well. I removed the tape this morning before I went to work, and it seemed to stay just fine. May have separated just a bit, but it's not anything that you can notice as you walk around the car. When you really get up and look at it, is when you see that gap. So thanks to a guy on the Facebook group, the Infinity Facebook group. He said that he used half round gloss black molding, and he was kind enough to provide a link to the eBay store where he got it, and so I ordered some today, and it's just gonna cover up that gap. It will adhere right above the diffuser, where the diffuser and the bumper cover meet, and that will cover that gap and just clean up the look overall, and I think we should be in good shape. But for 0 to 10 rating on the product, I would have to give it a 6. I don't want to be super harsh, but so I'm still, being nice and giving it a 6. Overall, it looks pretty nice. There wasn't any damage. It was in good shape. The shape is nice. I like how it smoothly matches up to the bumper cover. And, like I said, overall, it's nice. If the fitment was pretty good, I can't complain about that. So overall, I'd say a 6. I'd say it's easily a 6 out of 10. I don't want to be super harsh, so yeah, I think a 6 out of 10 is probably accurate. Overall, had a nice shape. Fitment was pretty good as far as how it went over the exhaust tips and fit the dimensions of the bumper cover itself. So 6 is probably pretty accurate. And honestly, I just say 6 because of the amount of work that it took to get the diffuser right to apply it to the bumper. It's just a lot of sanding and smoothing and shaping involved to get that edge where the tape goes to be smooth and shaped perfectly to fit the bumper, flush across the whole entire surface. So from an outward appearance, when you look at it installed in the car, even when you looked at it off the car, raw, it was in really good shape. It's a nice looking diffuser, and like I said, it fits pretty well. So again, the only reason I'm knocking 4 points off on the 0 to 10 rating is just because of the amount of work that one lip took, and it may just been a one-off case. Maybe they're not all that rough. So I'd be fine, telling anyone with the Q50 that's looking for a diffuser, for a good price. I think it was less than $100. I was looking at a couple of them. One was $95 and another was $69, and I can't remember exactly which one I bought now that I'm talking about it. But either way, for $100, we'll say less than $100 for a rear diffuser for the Q50, it really was a good deal. If you don't mind putting in a little elbow grease and making sure the thing is shaped right before you install it, it'd be a good buy. So again, 6 out of 10, but I'll still recommend it. Magic Drift, magicdrift.com. Magic Drift is the salesperson or the company on eBay as well. So check it out. It's a decent buy, but just beware. You may have to shape it a bit. Might have been a good tactic to leave it out in the sun as well, just to get it softened up. That probably would have been a good move on my part, but I thought it would have been close enough to where I could just do it with the heat gun, which is what I ended up doing. But any questions about how I installed it? I know I wanted to make a video on the installation process, but it was just fighting me, and I had some issue with the paint, and that's probably my fault, being as impatient as I am. Just in some of the grooves where the little fins meet, had some imperfections, and I sanded them, and it was my fault. I left some sand scratches because I didn't take my time making sure they were all smoothed out. And when the paint dried, being flat, it hides some of the imperfections, but as I looked over it, the scratches were showing themselves, and it bugged me. So instead of just leaving well enough alone, I started messing with it, caused some cloudiness and haziness in the next round of clear. And long story short, I sanded all that crap off and redid it, and I'm actually less happy with the result now than I was before. But again, my fault, not the product's fault by any means. So again, any questions, or you want to know anything about the product itself or the installation process and the hassles that I went through, leave comments down below. Otherwise, be sure to like and subscribe. Stay tuned. We got some other things coming up. Have some more parts on order for the car, so look forward to doing some more unboxing and some installations. Again, stay tuned. Thanks for watching.